There are 35 people on death row in the state of Mississippi. This is part 3 of the series. Kelvin Jordan, 27 years on death row. On October 5, 1995, Jordan and Frontrell Edwards were found guilty and given the death penalty for the murders of Tony Roberts and his 2-year-old son, Cordera Bradley. Jordan and Edwards made a stop at Pachutazamoco gas station. After approaching the father and son, Roberts offered to drive the two men to a Heidelberg ball game. On October 8, 1995, Roberts' 1987 Nissan was discovered burning in a dirt pit close to Rose Hill. The bodies of Roberts and his son were discovered on Highway 11 next to the train tracks, 2 miles below the Barnett settlement. The infant had been shot once and the father multiple times. Authorities eventually found the rifle in a Jasper County pond. Richard Jordan, 25 years on death row. Jordan was found guilty on January 13, 1976, of kidnapping and murdering Edwina Marta in Harrison County. He was charged with extorting Marta's husband for a $25,000 ransom, dragging her to a North Harrison County forested area, and shooting her in the back of the head. He received 4 different death sentences. Jordan successfully contested his death sentence after the first 3 convictions. He was then retried and received another death sentence. Jason Lee Keller, 14 years on death row. In her convenience store in Biloxi, Mississippi, Keller robbed and killed Hat Nguyen. Keller could not recollect precisely how many times he had shot her, but he did know that he had shot her once or twice before she rushed out the door of the convenience store, and that he had followed her out the store holding the revolver. They went back inside after she promised to give him all of the cash there. Then Keller shot her once again. Stephen Michael Knox, 24 years on death row. In order to watch the kids of her niece, Guy Alice Spears Green, Ella Mae Spears was due to go from Liberty to Fayette, Mississippi on October 22, 1998. Green called Spears' son, Albert McKnight, who then got in touch with Amity County Sheriff Gene McClendon after Miss Spears did not show up in Fayette as planned. Then McClendon and McKnight headed to Spears' Liberty home. Spears wasn't there when they got there at about 2 p.m. The house's rear door to the garage was closed but unlocked. Her car was in the carport, her purse on a table inside the home. Dark streaks that seemed to be a blood trail heading to the back of Spears' car were found by McClendon on the carport floor. McClendon called the dealership where he bought the car from when he couldn't find the keys and got a duplicate key that opened the trunk. Spears' lifeless body was wrapped in a quilt inside. According to the autopsy findings, Spears' death was consistent with manual strangulation. Tong Lee, 21 years on death row. Following the beating and strangulation deaths of Min Hyu Thi Hyun and her 2 daughters, 10, then 15, and Thuy, then 11, Tong Lee and Gan Tran were charged with capital murder. While being held in detention, Gan Tran, the man who was thought to have carried out the real killings, committed suicide. After a trial, Lee received a death by lethal injection sentence. The state evidence at Lee's trial demonstrated that the two had gone to Huyn's house with the intention of robbing her. The kids, who were by themselves at home, let the two enter the apartment. Upon Huyn's return, she and the kids had been brutally assaulted, chained, and strangled to death. Lee and Tran tried using water and bleach to cleanse the area for hours. Along taking $1,300 in cash, the two also took a book bag filled with home goods. Willie Jerome Manning, 29 years on death row. Born on June 12, 1968, Willie Jerome Fly Manning is currently serving 2 death sentences in the Mississippi State Penitentiary in the United States for his conviction of a double murder, the Steckler-Miller murders. In the past, he was found guilty and given the death penalty for the unconnected double killings known as the Jimerson-Jordan murders. However, the state Supreme Court reversed this decision and mandated a new trial. The Death Penalty Information Center designated him as a 2015 death row exoneree for this case, when the charges against him for the Jimerson-Jordan murders were dismissed. Prosecutors claimed that on December 11, 1992, 2 Mississippi State University students, John Steckler, then 19 years old, and Tiffany Miller, then 22 years old, were pushed into Miller's car from the street in front of Steckler's fraternity home. An hour or so later, A driver discovered Steckler shot in the back of the head and left for dead by the side of the road just outside of Starkville after Miller's Toyota MR2 ran him over. Officers on the scene discovered Miller's body in the woods. She had been shot once in the mouth and once in the forehead. Based on the evidence, it appeared that she had experienced SA as well. Steckler passed away soon after. Miller's vehicle was discovered close to the MSU campus in the morning. John Stephen Steckler was a second-year Forest Resources major. In addition to being a committed Catholic who served in Mexico as a missionary, he was an athlete who played football for Cathedral High School. He enjoyed being in nature and going hunting. Pamela Tiffany Miller was a Madison, Mississippi native in her third year of nursing school. She had taken a year off. John Wise, a fraternity buddy of Steckler's, discovered his car had been broken into the morning of the killings. The two students, according to the prosecution, stopped the break-in. A token from a gas station was among the things taken. The murder scene had a token that was strikingly similar. In addition, a portable CD player that was tracked down by its serial number from Wise to a pawn shop in Jackson was taken, as was a black leather bomber jacket that was eventually found and recovered from Manning's girlfriend, who testified during the trial that Manning had given it to her. Galen Hall, the pawner, stated in court that he got it from Manning. Manning had recently been granted parole and had a criminal record that included theft and other offenses. He had been found guilty of grand larceny on September 5, 1991, and burglary of a residence on April 20, 1992. Evidence presented during Manning's prosecution revealed that he both owned and attempted to sell goods taken during the Wise break-in. In addition to attesting to Manning's ownership of the pilfered goods, Manning's girlfriend also revealed that the man had been practicing target shooting with a tree. Slugs found in the tree were shot from the same gun that killed Steckler and Miller, according to an FBI firearms expert. Ginger Wallace testified that she saw Manning with a watch resembling Steckler's, a gold glass ring, and wearing a leather jacket. Eric Moffett, 30 years on death row. In the early hours of December 31, 1994, Felicia Griffin was essayed, beaten, and killed. Felicia shared a home in Jackson with her mother Penny Griffin, her two sisters, and Moffett. Moffett was Penny's boyfriend. Moffett, Penny, and the three girls were home on December 30, 1994. Around 9:45 p.m., Moffett departed the house as Penny was getting ready for work. Penny anticipated that Florence Moffett Powell, Moffett's mother, would arrive shortly to drive her to work. Before departing, Penny made sure the kids were okay and secured the door and burglar's bars. Powell stopped by Penny's house, picked her up at the gas station, and drove her to work. Sharita stated in her deposition that she had gone with Powell and had seen him go into the residence in search of Penny. Powell passed away before the trial, therefore she did not testify. Evidence was presented to the jury indicating that Moffett went back to the residence a few hours later, dragged Felicia into the bedroom, abused her, and viciously essayed her by using his fingers and fist. Felicia was just 5 years old. Please hit that subscribe button if you like my channel. See you next time. Bye bye.